What is good, you guys? It's your boy, Ghiman Mckinney, back here with the Juice Alert and another video for you today. And guys, today I got my boy, Joe Discher right here.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, say hello to the channel, show my boy some love. All right, guys, so today as you see, he's a Michigan fan. I'm an Ohio State fan. We know which school, well, we're not talking about universities, but you know which football program is probably better, okay? But we're not getting into that. But anyway, guys, like I said, welcome to the Juice Alert once again. Right now, guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Today, we're going to be talking about the Michigan-Ohio State football game. I will be vlogging for that game, as I did I got 2 tickets to that game. I'm going to be there in Columbus. I'll vlog a little bit. I'm probably going to be there for game day, too, hopefully. Depends on a lot of things. But like I said, guys, just tune in Sunday for that, possibly even late Saturday night. But we're going to get right into this. So, as you guys know, Ohio State, Michigan, probably the biggest rivalry in college football, probably in sports, honestly. I mean, you know, both teams coming in this game with 1 loss. Both teams have been through a lot, have some ranked wins, some losses. Ohio State with the 1 loss to Purdue, Michigan with the 1 loss to Notre Dame week 1. Both teams have progressed. Some have degressed. I don't know. But anyway, like I said, we're just going to give our score predictions, and, you know, feel free to comment and talk about who you agree with, who you disagree with. But I'm going to start off. For this game, I think Ohio State is going to win 30-27, okay? Now, the reason why Ohio State's at home. Listen, guys, there's been a lot of questions about Ohio State, okay? Their defense, like I said, this past week versus Maryland, if you watched the most recent video, they were atrocious, especially versus the run. They gave almost 300 yards rushing versus the run. Not great at all. Versus Minnesota, I was at the Minnesota game. The first half, they looked flat. And that was at home. Nebraska at home, they looked bad. You know, on the road at Purdue, just an inexcusable effort, bad loss. But, you know, this is a rivalry game. It's going to be a close game, I think. You know, both teams, they know it's at stake. Basically, if you win out, you're possibly in the playoffs. Ohio State may need a little bit of help. Michigan, if they win out, they're in my opinion. But anyway, I think Ohio State's going to win this game because at home, Ohio State is averaging 49 points per game. That's very good. And, I mean, Michigan, you know, they played some decent teams on the road. You know, they lost to Notre Dame week 1. No shame in that loss. But you got to look at how they lost and just some of the things like that. You know, versus Notre Dame, they scored 17 points. They scored 21 points versus Michigan State in a win. They also scored 20 points in a struggle win versus Northwestern. Northwestern are a decent team, but nothing to brag home about. Michigan should be blowing Northwestern out, in my opinion. But, yeah, they're going to face, Northwestern, like I said, the thing that I'm getting at is that Ohio State, you're going to need to score at least, I think, 25 to win this game, in my opinion. Listen, Michigan's defense is legit. They're legit, in my opinion. I think they're the 3rd best defense in the country. I would put Clemson and Mississippi State's defense over them. But
we're better than Mississippi State's defense.
I don't want to hear it. That's a discussion for another day. But anyway, like I said, I think Clemson has the best defense. Michigan's defense is very, very legit, guys. But I wanted to just say this. I mean, in no way am I indicting that Michigan's defense is good because of who they played at all. In no way. They're legit. Ohio State's going to need to come out looking really good. But, you know, just looking at some of these notes, and if you look at, I'm going to read off the teams, the actually relevant teams that Michigan has played on the road, just because this game being played in Columbus, you have to compare the road. I mean, if you look at how they played at home, you can compare that a little bit, but I'm going to look at the road stats because the game's in Columbus. That's basically why I'm picking Ohio State. I think if Ohio State was in Michigan, they lose. Out of the Northwestern quarterback, Wisconsin quarterback, Michigan State quarterback, Notre Dame quarterback, in total, all those quarterbacks have thrown 35 touchdowns on a year to 35 interceptions. Is that great to you?
Nope.
Doesn't sound great to me.
Nope.
All right, and all of them except the Northwestern quarterback, which is completing exactly 60% of their passes. No one else has completed 60% of their passes. And, you know, I'm even going to throw in Trace McSorley, which was a great win for them. You know, they beat Penn State. They blew Penn State at home. He's completing 53.4% of his passes. Now, that's a little bit of a down year for him. He's a great quarterback in my opinion. But, you know, like I said, it's not that Michigan hasn't played anybody. It's just that they have not really faced a great offense like Ohio State. Like I said, Ohio State's averaging 49 points per game at home. You know, Dwayne Haskins, you look at his numbers, 69% completion percentage. Get this right. 36 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He's been amazing, guys. He's a Heisman candidate. He's going to be in New York. And like I said, Ohio State, you know, their offense, they're going to score points. You know, they've run the ball pretty well. They ran the ball well with J.K. Dobbins this past week. But, you know, Ohio State's defense, that has been the question. These past couple, times on these past couple games this year, it's been uncharacteristic on defense. Too many big plays given up. I will admit that. I'm a Buckeyes fan. the defense has not looked great this year. It's not as good as some of the defenses in the past. But at home, they're only averaging 19.5 points per game. And, Michigan versus some of these teams, like I said, 17 versus Notre Dame, no shame in that. 21 versus Michigan State, 20 versus Northwestern. Like I said, I just don't have faith that Michigan's... Now, like I said, I think Michigan's going to score 27. I think Ohio State's defense is going to bend a lot in this game, but I don't think they'll break. I think they might force a turnover. And also situationally, look, if you're going to compare defenses, compare them based on, points per game, all that, but look at their third down percentage, okay? On defense versus Maryland, which was a bad game, Ohio State 4 of 13. Maryland was 4 of 13 on offense on third down versus Ohio State defense. That's not bad. Versus Penn State was 3 of 17. Michigan State 2 of 16. I can say Michigan State's a bad offense. Listen, guys, if you're playing bad overrated teams or bad offenses, you got to blow them out. You got to dominate them. Ohio State did what they needed to do. So, shut up. But anyway, like I said, on the year, Ohio State's defense only allowing 30% conversions on third down. Now, Michigan's at 31%. That's a little bit better, but considering the schedules, that's about even. And both teams are at 31 sacks on the year, so both teams equally, with getting after the passer. Chase Winovich may or may not play. That's an X factor in this game, definitely. But, Ohio State, I think, I was picking them with Chase Winovich in the lineup or not. So, like I said, I got 30-27 Ohio State. X factors in this game, I think, is Tate Martell. I think he's going to make a couple plays. Dwayne Haskins ran the ball very well versus Maryland, which is key because, he was very hesitant to do so, to run the ball. And I think Chris Olave, a true freshman wide receiver that we have, he's been filling in for Austin Mack. He's going to make a couple catches, I think. I think because Michigan doesn't really know who he is. They probably do, but, they don't really know who he is. I think that he's going to make a couple plays. So, 30-27 Ohio State. Now I'm going to turn it over to my man Joe.
All right. Here we are. College football season flew by. I'm sure you can agree with that. The game's already upon us. I've been waiting on this game for a whole year, and really the past 6 years. We've lost 6 in a row. Not good. So I just have some keys for Michigan to win. Key number 1, Karan Higdon, and in general, the Michigan running game. Right now, we're rushing for 220 a game. That's great. Ohio State is prone to give up some rushing yards, just like they did to McFarland in Maryland. McFarland's 300 yards. McFarland's a great back, but so is Karan Higdon. I think he's one of the most underrated backs in the Big Ten. Michigan's 12-0 when Higdon's over 100 yards. And I think Shea's going to run a lot this year. I think Shea's probably going to have about 50, 60 rushing yards. And then Chris Evans and True Wilson are 2 and 3 backs. They're going to need to keep running well and running hard. Key number 2, which I think is the biggest key of the game, are man coverage. It's no secret. Michigan runs man coverage probably about 98% of their defensive snaps. Don Brown, who I think is the best defensive coordinator in the country, he loves man coverage. Our corners, they're on islands. We don't have safety help. Our safeties are up near the line of scrimmage. Statistically speaking, we have the number 1 pass defense in the country. But I'm not really sold on it. Like Ghiman pointed out, we haven't faced really any good quarterbacks. We faced Brandon Wimbush. He's probably the best quarterback we've faced. Maybe Clayton Thorson.
He's not even playing anymore.
Exactly. He's benched. Maybe Clayton Thorson from Northwestern or Peyton Ramsey, but that's really nothing to be bragging about. And Ohio State has speed at the receiver position. I expect big days from Paris Campbell and KJ Hill, and probably Terry McLaurin too. And I think that's going to create some problems for Michigan. Ohio State, they're going to run crossing routes. Michigan sucks at covering crossing routes over the middle of the field. They just do. That's the team's biggest weakness. We cannot defend crossing routes because we play man coverage and we don't have anyone over the middle. And Kaliki Hudson, our Viper position, and Tyree Cannell, our safety, they're going to be covering the middle of the field man-to-man along with Josh Metellison. I just don't think they're going to be able to cover KJ Hill from the slot or whoever's in the slot. It doesn't really matter. I think they'll have some big days. And David Long, Lavert Hill, and Brandon Watson, they've been playing great this season. They really have. They've been shut down corners. According to Pro Football Focus, David Long and Lavert Hill are both top 3 corners stats-wise. but they haven't faced a receiving core like Zone 6. I mean, Ohio State's receivers, yeah, you lost Austin Mack, but they're still stacked. Chris Olave, freshman that Ghiman brought up, I mean, he was a 4-star coming in. I think he might have 1 reception, but Ben Victor, Paris Campbell, Terry McLaurin, all these guys, they're going to have big days. So the biggest one, no pass interference calls. I don't know what to expect from the refs. 2 years ago, you had some cheating refs in Ohio. I've spoke to you about them cheating refs before, but hopefully the refs this year are good. I mean, who knows? Michigan corners, we're prone to giving up big plays, and we're prone to be undisciplined. Through the first 5 games, Michigan had like the most penalties in college football. Now that's changed since then, but it was still really bad.
Ohio State's O-line has a lot of penalties too.
Yep, and I'll get to that. So if we can really just limit the passing game, our man coverage is gonna have to have the best day. That's gonna be the factor in this game, I think. Another point is our red zone struggles. Against Indiana, we settled for 6 field goals. Now, we had a true freshman kicking his first ever college game. He went 6 for 6. But we can't be settling for field goals versus Ohio State. It's just not going to get it done. But it does help that Ohio State is the 95th best red zone defense, which is not great. Michigan's even worse. We're at 125th out of 130, so that's just terrible. So I need touchdowns in the red zone. If we get in the red zone, I don't want field goals. We have to score to win. And then another thing, like Ghiman said, the Chase Winovich injury. Injuries were a problem this past week. Now, you probably saw my retweets on Twitter. I was pretty heated, but Indiana was...
Tell me your Twitter.
Yeah. Indiana was playing dirty, and Chase Winovich got injured. However, I do have some info on that. I think there's about a 95% chance Chase Winovich plays. They suspected that he broke his collarbone, so they took him straight to the hospital after number 72, don't even remember his name because he's irrelevant, some Indiana offensive lineman, but he just jumped on Winovich when he was laying on the ground. There was no point for it. He was just mad that they were losing, so he's just a dirty player. It is what it is. But Chase Winovich did not break his collarbone. The x-rays came back negative, and I think he's going to be ready to play. He's not Nick Bosa. He puts his team first. He's going to be there. He's a team player. 5th-year senior. He came back for his last year. He's playing in this game. He's not going to miss it. He may be banged up, but he's going to be playing in this game. Also, Juwan Bushell-Beatty, our right tackle, he got a little nicked up, missed most of this game. Harbaugh said he'll be back. He's playing some great football right now. I think our whole offensive line is playing great, which adds to a running game. McFarland had 300 last week. Karan Higdon's not going to get 300. And I don't think he's going to get big plays, but I think ground and pound, just grind down that Ohio State run defense.
Keep Haskins off the field.
Exactly. Keep Haskins off the field. Keep our defense rested so when they get out on the field, they can dominate. 20 yards here, 13 yards there, another 6, another 7 from Higdon. I mean, that's the key. Just ground and pound, which opens up the passing game. So, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Nico Collins, and Tariq Black, 6'8", Zach Gentry. We need big days from them. I think the 120, 130. So, pass game, it's going to be there. We just got to execute. Shea's been playing great all season. I tried to tell you guys that Shea was good when he was coming in as a transfer, but I don't know if anyone wanted to listen, but I hope y'all listening now because Shea Patterson, he's a good quarterback.
Not John O'Corn.
No, he's way better than John O'Corn and way better than Wilton Spate, so this won't be like previous years. And we got to stop Haskins or limit him. You can't stop Dwayne Haskins. Even in the Purdue game, Purdue didn't stop Dwayne Haskins. Haskins still had a good day. He's a beast. We haven't faced a quarterback like him. I think I'm a Michigan fan, and I think he's a Heisman candidate. I mean, he's been tearing it up all season, but our pass rush has to pressure him. We have to make him panic. Just like the Purdue game, we got to do what they did. Got to make him panic. We want him to throw interceptions. Our pass rush last week, it wasn't that good. And I think we have the deepest D-line in the nation. I'll say that now. I think we have the deepest D-line in the nation. Not the best, that's Clemson. But we got guys who can rush the passer. Rashawn Gary, Josh Uche, Chase Winovich, Michael Dwumfor. I think they need to have big days. Our pass rush wasn't too good last week, so we got to show up against Ohio State's suspect offensive line. And my final point is play with swag. It's no secret, Michigan's on their revenge tour. And Ohio State, Columbus is the last stop. We've had this game circled whole season. No one on this team has beat Ohio State, and I don't think anyone on the coaching staff has beat Ohio State. It's got to happen. It's got to happen some point. 6 in a row is unexcusable for Michigan, and we can't let it get to 7. And everything's riding on this game. Our players know that. Everyone knows what week it is. I think we're going to have a great week of practice, great week of preparation, and I think we'll be ready because we've had a tremendous season. And I think after the first quarter of the Notre Dame game, we've been playing great football. Maybe minus the first quarter of the Northwestern game, but other than that, we've been one of the top 4 teams in the country. And if we lose, this season's all for nothing, in my opinion.
Rose Bowl.
We could end up in the Rose Bowl. I don't want to be in the Rose Bowl. I want to be in the playoffs. It's about time Jim Harbaugh gets there. I think he's a great coach, so we need to get there. And like I said, if we lose, season will be for almost nothing because we're going to have a lot of people leave after this year. Michigan will dominate the NFL draft. Our team next year will be totally different. So we got to win. And I think our players are going to be fired up. Ohio State's a great team. And I really wanted to pick them in this prediction. But I just think Michigan has the edge. Like I said, we'll be fired up. So my prediction's really similar to Ghiman's. I got Michigan winning 31-24. It's going to be similar to the 2016 game. Really similar, really close. But 2016, compared to this year, both teams have better offenses. So there's going to be more scoring, but it's still going to be close. But I think in the end, Michigan's just going to wear down Ohio State's defense to score late with Karan Higdon. And so that's why I got Michigan winning 34-20 or 31-24.
All right, guys, that has been the prediction video. Comment who you agree with, comment who you disagree with. Tell me why I'm right, tell me why I'm wrong. Tune in for that vlog for Saturday, Sunday probably. I'll be there at the Ohio State game. It's been your boy Ghiman Mckinney, the Juice Alert. Shout out to my boy Joe Discher.
Yep, thanks for having me on the show, and have fun this weekend.
Make sure you watch this game, even if you're not an Ohio State fan or a Michigan fan. You gotta watch
the game. It's gonna be a classic.
Yeah, it's a great game. It's a great game. Great rivalry. All right, take care, guys. Keep supporting the channel. Like this video if you haven't. Dislike it. Whatever. All right, guys. It's been the Juice Alert, and we're out.